prosecutor has the opportunity to prosecute this in court. And let us all know the counts or the issues that he's taken Kenoferiata to court, and then work it out in absentia. I think that
even with the interrogation,
the theatrics are becoming more than serious content.
Both sides.
Well, I mean, you can say both sides or one side. And my worry is that he's gone a bit too far already in terms of doing this Interpol thing. I'm not, you know, we have to.
I want the man is not availing himself. This is an option available to me, so I take that route.
But really, I think that, so when he's actually found guilty, then what do you do? There are many things that you can do in between. And the consequences of doing this red Interpol thing, mind you, based on my experience, it really hijacks your family even. Okay, knowing what I know, many bank accounts will be shut off limit to the family, and you'd move from having money to no money. And I think, I mean, as we are here, we even have the chance of, quote unquote, confiscating Kenoferiata's businesses. I mean, there's so many options available to you in your country, because, I mean, we all know where Data Bank is. We all know where Transition Enterprise. We all know all of these things. So I think that it's excessive, unnecessary, and I mean, let me be a bit difficult here. Supposing that what he's being charged with is less than the net worth of Enterprise, then why all of this international hula baloo? I'm just saying, because you can, just as they put wage garnishment, you know, he could start off by doing the thing in court, taking over, you know, Enterprise, and then, you know, if he's found guilty, and you know, an offense that requires jail, then you do all these Interpol things. Now, I think that he's overstepped and almost now made the person guilty without any defense, guilty without doing the necessary homework. And that is where I have a problem.
You think that's how it
because
looks? That's how he
I mean, yes,
it.
I'm looking at it
but
that way.
He has said that Ken is a person of interest. He's a suspect that needs to be interrogated.
Yes, but suspect doesn't mean that make him criminal already. And listen, I choose my words carefully, looking at the fact that the special prosecutor is overreaching. You know, and that is where I'm coming from.
Right.
And there's a reason why judges are made to, as it is, make you tone down as a prosecutor, because, you know, this is youthful exuberance. That's how I see it.
But don't you think Ken has also a responsibility to save himself the embarrassment?
He has, but he's in a hard place, you know, where he's looking at his health, and I know certainly there are reasons for him choosing medical care outside of Ghana. I don't want to go into that. Right. I mean, let me admit on air that I know his own sister is a senior health practitioner, not a doctor, I know, but I think a nurse, you know, with high repute.
The wife.
And the wife taught me psychiatry in medical school. You know, so I mean, the wife is not a medical doctor, but she's a psychiatrist. But either way, I think that for me, the special prosecutor certainly is overreaching. That is my thought. And you know, if you're a prosecutor, you also need to be put in check.
Right.
And that is where I'm coming from, that he needs to be put in check, and maybe he needs to exhaust all possible avenues. In fact, to say the least, what even prevents the prosecutor's office from visiting Oforiatta? I mean, this is a high-profile case.
Yeah.
I'm just, I mean, listen, I mean, if Nanado needs to be questioned, we'll afford him the respect and go to his resident and question him. I'm not,
But Muhammad did appear before the OSP as former president.
Yes. So my key point here is that, and let me borrow from Honorable Matthew Opoku Prempeh. I mean, he's carried himself especially so well based on his narrative about his visitations to Yoko and whatnot, NIB and whatnot. And I think that in the instance of Finance Minister and in truthfulness, based on the quantums of money that the Finance Minister managed, the items he's being sought after are minuscule. I mean, they are huge, but minuscule in terms of the kinds of monies that Finance Minister was pushing or managing, for our country. So, in concluding, one, I think that yes, Ken Oforiatta is being sought for supposed crimes, okay, but who is checking the OSP in terms of his overreaching, and being a bit exuberant, that is where I come in. That I think that, for instance, should he have given us some 6 weeks before going to Interpol? These are procedural administrative.
No, but he
things.
listed first, and then delisted.
Yeah.
And then when exactly.
But what I'm saying is that when Ken then said that he will avail himself through Zoom, and you are not happy with that, were we supposed to grant him? I'm just inquiring from a judicial mindset. 6 weeks, and then if we don't resolve this Zoom, whether Zoom or not, issue for 6 weeks, I'm going to Interpol. I mean, that is where I'm coming from. And mind you, I'm being measured in the sense that, listen, in all of this is the country's reputation as well. Yeah. It's not just Ken Oforiatta. There's a former finance minister for Ghana. And when we, wash our linens out like that to the world, mind you, whether we like it or not, the actions of the special prosecutor in relation to our finance minister may even affect Atuforsen, because our finance ministry is being colored in a certain way, to the extent that if Atuforsen is in a meeting in international circles, already there'll be doubts, castigations, and anything that we are putting on finance minister today shows our inability to be very accountable at the finance ministry, and it will create unnecessary issues for us as a country. So we need to
headed by an individual, and it is this individual that is being taken on.
Yes, but my point is that my point is that personally, we need to manage it carefully. Listen, the likes of Madoff, who was a very powerful former finance minister for New York Stock Exchange, then eventually did the scheme and things like that. The thin line between being a financial maestro and having these allegations is very thin.
Blur.
So I would just, I'm not here to fight for Ken. I'm not here to say that all that he's doing is right, but I'm being cautious and only saying that the special prosecutor needs to be also checked in terms of his rush to Interpol and his rush in dealing with some of these things. I mean, not to borrow from Dafiamapo, but Dafiamapo, who's a lawyer and NDC, is questioning why he didn't agree to even do the Zoom. I mean, this is not me.
But the lawyers also argue that to be able to take a caution statement, you would have to arrest, and they don't see how they will arrest via video.
No, but everything is not necessarily white and black. There are cases and there are cases, okay? And supposing that this man, I mean, listen, I've worked in police hospital where we had people bound in cuffs and to the bed.
To the bed, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that they should go and arrest him in the hospital, but there's room for making sure that there's some police presence at his hospital bed, and he's under detention, but in hospital. And supposing you go and he's on life support, what are you going to do? Unplug?
No.
Because you need to arrest him.
Yeah.
So I think that one special prosecutor needs to know that he's toying with Ghana's financial reputation. I mean, with the greatest of respect, and that this will impact even Ghana's outlook in the international domain. Listen, it's like one CEO come, one CEO go, but the sins of, this is marring the image of the institution, the finance ministry. You might think different, but I feel that knowing my Oyibo people, what I mean is knowing my white friends, and the way they think, we ought not to destroy the gains. And mind you, Africa is labeled always as corrupt. And we ourselves are putting ink in this. And that is where I worry that the damage from this case, though we are going after Ken Ofori-Atta, we need to be mindful about how there may be irreparable damages to our finance ministry in terms of other things they are going after in terms of finances, on the world market, there's enough damning information in terms of how our ratings were low, and we are here trying to, as it is, improve our credibility.
Right.
So in one breath, we want to move from class below C to even a B.
Yeah.
And that is literally financial credibility. So special prosecutor needs to be mindful and guided by the fact that whether we like it or not, some of these things can damage our indices and for that matter, impact on Atufosin's work today.
Very well. Thank you.